You know what makes me sick? Watching a man who claims to be a warrior, who preaches about honor and respect, completely sell out everything he stands for just to align himself with the most pathetic excuse for a faction in WWE today. Drew McIntyre, the so-called Scottish warrior, has officially hit rock bottom, and if you think this was bad, wait until you hear what this really means for SmackDown going forward. But here's my question for you before we dive deep into this dumpster fire: was Drew McIntyre ever truly a face, or has he been waiting for the perfect moment to show his true colors? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this debate is about to get heated. Let's talk about what happened on SmackDown, because honestly, I'm still trying to process the absolute betrayal we witnessed. Cody Rhodes and the Usos were set to go head-to-head with Logan Paul and The Vision in what should have been a straightforward tag team showdown. The American Nightmare and the brothers who've dominated the tag team division for years against a YouTuber playing wrestler and a faction that's barely held together. Seems simple, right? Wrong, because out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre, a man who's supposed to represent pride, honor, and fighting spirit, decided to throw all of that garbage out the window and help Logan Paul and The Vision absolutely demolish Cody Rhodes and the Usos. And I mean demolish. This wasn't just interference, this was a calculated, premeditated assault. Let me paint the picture for you. The match was going back and forth, with both teams getting their shots in. The Usos were hitting their signature moves, Cody was rallying the crowd, and for a moment, it looked like justice was going to prevail. Logan Paul was on the ropes, literally and figuratively, and The Vision was starting to crack under the pressure. The WWE Universe was on their feet, waiting for that moment when the good guys would triumph over the wannabe influencer and his misfit crew. But then, Drew McIntyre's music hits. The crowd erupted, thinking the Scottish warrior was coming to even the odds, to protect Cody Rhodes, a man he's shared the ring with countless times, to stand up for what's right. But instead, what did we get? We got Drew McIntyre marching down that ramp with a look in his eyes that could only be described as pure malice. No hesitation, no second thoughts, just a man on a mission to destroy everything the WWE Universe believed about him. Here's a quick trivia question for the comments: how many times has Drew McIntyre turned heel in his WWE career? Let me know if you're a true Wrestling Zone fan. Drew slid into that ring, and I swear you could feel the air get sucked out of the arena. Cody Rhodes turned around, probably thinking his ally had arrived, and instead, he walked right into a Claymore Kick that could have decapitated him. The sound of that boot connecting with Cody's jaw echoed throughout the entire arena, and just like that, the match was over. But Drew wasn't done. Oh no, he was just getting started. The Usos tried to make the save, but with Logan Paul, The Vision, and Drew McIntyre all working together, they didn't stand a chance. We watched Jey Uso get beaten down in the corner while Jimmy tried desperately to fight off three men at once. It was like watching a pack of wolves tear apart their prey, and Drew McIntyre was leading the hunt. The post-match beatdown was brutal. These men weren't just winning a match, they were making a statement. Cody Rhodes was left lying in the middle of the ring, barely conscious. The Usos were scattered around the ringside area like casualties of war. And standing tall above all the carnage, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and The Vision, looking like they'd just won the lottery. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why? Why would Drew McIntyre, a former WWE champion, a man whose main event WrestleMania, someone who's been vocal about his respect for the business, align himself with Logan Paul, a part-timer who treats WWE like a side hustle between his podcast episodes and his energy drink commercials, a man who doesn't even have the decency to commit full-time to the industry that's putting money in his pocket? And The Vision? Don't even get me started on The Vision. This faction has been nothing but a collection of mid-carders trying to stay relevant by grouping together like some kind of discount bloodline. They've been floundering for months, searching for that one big moment that would legitimize their existence, and Drew McIntyre just handed it to them on a silver platter. Think about this for a second. Drew McIntyre has fought tooth and nail to get to the top of WWE. He was fired, had to rebuild himself on the independent circuit, came back stronger than ever, won the WWE Championship, and became one of the most respected performers in the entire company. And for what? To throw it all away by aligning with a social media celebrity and a faction that couldn't draw heat if you set them on fire. Drop a comment and tell me, is Drew McIntyre making the biggest mistake of his career, or is this actually a genius move that we're all too blind to see right now? Let's talk about the implications here, because this isn't just about one attack. This is about the entire landscape of SmackDown changing in an instant. Cody Rhodes is now facing a threat unlike anything he's dealt with since becoming WWE champion. The Usos, who've already been through hell with the Bloodline saga, now have to deal with a completely new faction gunning for them. And the worst part? They have to deal with Drew McIntyre, someone they probably trusted. That's what makes this betrayal so disgusting. It's not just the physical assault, it's the breaking of trust, the shattering of alliances, the complete disrespect to everything these men have built together. Cody and Drew have mutual respect that goes back years. They've put on classics in different promotions, they've shared locker rooms, they've pushed each other to be better. And Drew just threw all of that in the garbage. And can we talk about the audacity of Logan Paul standing in that ring, smirking like he just proved something? This man has been in WWE for a hot minute and already has one of the most decorated wrestlers of this generation doing his dirty work. How does that make any sense? What kind of hold does Logan Paul have over Drew McIntyre? What could he have possibly offered that was worth selling out for? Here's what really grinds my gears. Drew McIntyre constantly talks about respect, about earning your spot, about proving yourself night after night. He's criticized part-timers, he's called out people who don't put in the work, and he's positioned himself as the locker room leader who keeps it real. And then he turns around and aligns with the most part-time, part-effort superstar on the entire roster. The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering. Quick question for the comments: who should Cody Rhodes call for backup? Who's big enough and angry enough to help take down this new alliance? Sound off below. Moving forward, SmackDown is about to become an absolute war zone. You've got Cody Rhodes, who's not going to take this lying down. The man survived the bloodline, he's overcome every obstacle thrown his way, and you think he's going to let Drew McIntyre get away with this? Absolutely not. The Usos are going to want revenge for getting jumped and disrespected. These are the men who held the tag team championships longer than almost anyone in history. They are not about to let this slide. But here's the scary part: Logan Paul, The Vision, and Drew McIntyre now form one of the most dangerous groups on SmackDown. You've got Logan's athleticism and unpredictability, The Vision's numbers advantage, and Drew's raw power and experience. On paper, this faction could run roughshod over the entire brand if nobody steps up to stop them. This attack also raises so many questions about Drew's character. Was he planning this all along? Has he been playing the long game, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? Or did something happen backstage that we don't know about? Did Cody disrespect him? Did management pass him over one too many times? We need answers, and something tells me Drew McIntyre is going to have a lot to say on the next episode of SmackDown. What absolutely kills me about this entire situation is that WWE had finally gotten Drew McIntyre's character right. He was connecting with the audience, getting massive reactions, and was positioned as a top star on the brand. And now he's playing second fiddle to Logan Paul, a man whose wrestling career is basically a side quest. It's like watching LeBron James leave a championship team to become a role player for a lottery team. It makes zero sense. Let me ask you this, and I want you to really think about it before answering in the comments. Is there any justification, any reason whatsoever, that would make Drew McIntyre's actions acceptable? Or is this simply the most cowardly, most disgraceful thing he could have possibly done? The fallout from this is going to be nuclear. We're talking potential multi-man matches, war games possibilities, maybe even a Survivor Series team built around this rivalry. The creative possibilities are endless, but they all start with one simple truth: Drew McIntyre just became the most hated man on Friday nights, and he's going to have to answer for what he did. So here's what I want from you, the Wrestling Zone family: hit that like button if you're disgusted by what Drew McIntyre did. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going to be covering every single development in this story, and most importantly,